Hello, everyone. Hi, say hi to me so I know that you're here. How are you guys? How are you? Just waiting for you guys to show up and say hello. I'm sure you're going to be here in a minute. Bianca, hi. Good evening. So tonight is going to be a little chat between us. And maybe you guys have questions that you need help with, things that you might want to discuss, comments, anything at all. I thought it would be cool because yesterday, it wasn't yesterday, on Saturday, Gabby, hi, I said, I posted on Instagram on Saturday that you guys could ask anything to me and I would answer all the questions. And then I spent hours answering your questions. And I thought, actually, if all of you guys, maybe not you specifically, but people that follow my work because they want to learn English, if they had so many questions and they were maybe happy because I said I would answer everything, I thought it would be nice to come here tonight and talk to you guys about that. And maybe you have questions that you might want me to answer. Hi, Diane. Good to see you. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little chat. If you have any questions, anything that you might need help with, you're just going to send it here in the chat, box thing, and I will try to answer, okay, whatever I can. So the first question is from Amanda. Do you have private classes? I do teach one-to-one lessons, but I have no availability. There are no slots available, I'm afraid. And it's been really crazy for the past 3 years, guys, with lessons. It's so difficult for me to say yes to you guys. So normally I say more no than yes because I have no availability. It's really, really hard to get a place for lessons, which is why there is 100 days my online course. So this is a way for you to have access to my method that you know and that you love, which is why you're here. But yes, it's a bit of a crazy situation with private lessons. Okay, let me see if there are any more questions right now that I could answer. Hi, Kellen. Let me see. Okay, no. City, São Paulo, where I live. No, I don't live in São Paulo. I live in Porto Alegre. I'm from São Paulo. That's where I'm from. But I don't live in São Paulo. I live in Porto Alegre. So, good evening. So since you guys, I'm going to be waiting for you guys to have questions in case you do, because I have nothing prepared for tonight. And I really wanted tonight to be about you because normally I have everything prepared. But I thought actually maybe you guys want me to answer because you're always talking to me on here and I'm always going on kind of about what I prepared. So, okay, Amanda, I'm from Brazil and I live in Australia. I need to improve my pronunciation. Yes, okay. The first thing you need to know, and you need to know this, you need to ask yourself this question is, do I like the Australian accent and do I want to sound similar to them? If your answer is yes, then you need to be listening really, really close to how people speak around you because you are there. And that's so lucky that you get to experience that being there, So first thing is to ask yourself, do I like this accent? Do I want to speak like they do? And if the answer is yes, then listen close, really, really listen so that you can try to mimic. I spoke a lot about that last Monday, so you should watch that video because I think it's going to help you so much, okay? And if you don't like the Australian accent and you really don't want to sound like them, then maybe you should try to focus on a more of a international English, as in just working on your own pronunciation, your own accent, because the thing about accent and pronunciation is that you're always going to have an accent. Everybody has an accent, and we all have a very specific accent when we are speaking English because it's not our first language, right? So the thing is, it's not to focus so much on the accent, but focus on the pronunciation, because the main thing should always be about you sounding as clear as possible. You know, like people need to understand you. That is the main thing. So if you want, like, to me, it was really important to sound as close to a native speaker as possible, because in my case, I was young, I was 15 when I moved to England, and I suffered a lot of bullying for being Brazilian at school. So I did not want people to know I was Brazilian. I wanted people to think I was British because I didn't want people to look at me. I didn't want the attention, you see. So to me, it was more like a very conscious decision. And I really worked on it in the beginning to really listen to people, to mimic them, to not be so embarrassed to speak like they do, you know. And then obviously this became my natural accent. So I'm not here making an effort to speak to you. This is how I speak English naturally. But obviously this was a decision, okay? Why did you decide to raise your children in Brazil? I actually answered this question on Instagram yesterday because a lot of people have this curiosity. It was because we believe, my husband and I believe, that kids are happier in Brazil, generally speaking, because of the weather, because since the weather is better, you have more chances of playing outside, you build really strong friendships. In Brazil, I'm still friends with my first friend in my life. And we became friends when I was 6 years old. So you see, in Brazil, obviously. And I feel that in England, it's harder to establish really strong bonds. So I just thought it would be a happier childhood to my kids, you know. Let me see. The difference between if and whether, that is such a great question. Jefferson, the difference between if and whether, they are very, very close in meaning, okay? Whether means if. You need to get this out of the way because then it's easier to comprehend everything else, okay? Whether is if, the meaning. But whether always has another option kind of implied. So a lot of the time, you don't say this other option in your sentence, but it's there. I'm going to give you an idea of what I mean, okay? Please let me know whether you have any questions. Please let me know whether you have any questions, because it's implied whether you have any questions or not. You see, like, or not is implied. So there is always this idea that it's implied. Something else is implied there. And you're not going to begin a sentence with whether like this, for example. If it's raining, take an umbrella. You can't say whether it's raining, take an umbrella. You cannot. You say if, because this is a condition, isn't it? If it's raining, you take an umbrella. So it's more like when there is another little something there, there is another option there, you know? So they are very close in meaning and yet very different. I hope that's helped you a little bit to understand. Why don't you use more Telegram? Jose, I planned, that was the plan originally, to use Telegram every day. And I have got to just admit to failure here. To admit to failure is to say, okay, I failed, because it's just been really, really crazy with my course ongoing. When something's very cool, listen to this. When something is ongoing, this thing is happening. It has not finished. It has not stopped. With my course ongoing at the moment, I just have not been able to keep up with everything. And I do really want to focus on the students that are taking the course and focus on my content here on YouTube that I still post every week, and my weekly lives as well. Everything else that I do on Instagram, I just thought, you know what? I don't think I'm going to be able to do it as much as I wanted to. I've just failed, really. Can you explain, Ursula, can you explain how to use either and neither? First of all, you can say either or either, and you can say neither or neither. It's the same thing. You're going to choose what you want to say, okay? Okay, listen to this sentence, okay? In a very simple way, if I say to you, for example, I don't like, something I said on Instagram yesterday as well, I don't like cheap chocolate. I really don't like cheap chocolate. I don't like the taste. I don't like it. It does not mean I don't eat cheap chocolate. Like if you open up, like really, if you open a box of Bis in front of me, I will eat it, but I don't like the taste. You know, I find it a bit like something funny. I don't like cheap chocolate. If I say this to you and you feel the same as me, I say, I don't like cheap chocolate. You're going to say to me, yeah, me neither. Me neither. You can't say, we need to get this one clear first. You can't say me too, because I said I don't like. So technically, when I say technically, I mean you will hear some native speakers saying me too. You will. But technically, you should say me neither, okay? Because neither is the negative form of agreeing with something. So I say I don't like, you agree, you feel the same. Me neither, because it's a negative sentence. I don't like, no, negative, okay? Now, if I say to you, this is, okay, if I say to you, I don't know what to do today. I don't know what to do today. And you want to give me a full sentence, you're going to say, yeah, I don't know what to do either. Listen, this is a bit of a crazy grammatical rule, isn't it? When I teach it, I always feel, God, this is weird, isn't it? For learners, it's hard to grasp. It's hard to understand. So, I don't know what to do today. You'll say to me, yeah, I don't know what to do either. Because look, I don't know, negative. I don't know what to do either. Because in a negative sentence, when there is the whole thing, you're going to say everything, then, and you are agreeing, it's like to, it's like also, you say either. You see, because of I don't know. This is the grammar behind this, okay? And neither is when you don't say the negative word, because you cannot say, I don't know what to do neither, because grammatically, in this sentence, you need to say either, because you cannot have I don't, which is negative, and then another negative word, which is neither. You see? So it's, and how do you remember this? It's actually very simple. All you got to do is remember that the word neither begins with an N, and the N is for negative. So neither is the negative form. So you cannot say, I don't like this, neither, never. I don't like this, either. Because there needs to be a balance in English. It's a bit crazy. I hope it's a bit, did this help you? Because if I give you a really long explanation, I think you're going to get lost. I think it's so much easier when you just understand this and you understand how it works, and then you see sentences and it makes sense, you know. Okay. Do you have any motivational videos? God, yeah, loads. I've got loads of motivational videos. If you type motivational or motivation when you're searching for my videos, you will definitely find a lot of videos. And a lot of my lives are very motivational. So look at the lives as well on YouTube on my channel, and you'll find it. I'm sure you will like it. How do you stay motivated in your journey to learn English? Tyann. Hi, Tyann. How are you? It's hard to stay motivated, guys, because the nature of this journey is for there to be ups and downs. Okay, so the nature, this means this is how it is naturally. The nature of this journey is for there to be ups, like, oh, I'm feeling good today, my English is brilliant today, and downs, like, God, I can't say anything. I don't understand the movie. My English is shit. So the nature of it is for there to be ups and downs. So to stay motivated is so tricky, because one day you're going to be feeling really good. The next thing you know, you hate yourself. So I think the best thing we can talk about when it comes to motivation is acceptance. Acceptance means accept that there will be ups and downs. I think this is what we should understand. And this is something that I wish I had understood in the beginning of my journey, which was accept that this is going to be really tough, and accept that this is going to take a long time. And also accept that nothing's going to happen if you don't do something. It really comes down to what we are doing, like how hard we are on ourselves, how much we want to make it happen. All these little things, they count towards how you feel in this journey. But I think acceptance is the main thing, like this will be hard, and it really, really is. And it's hard to accept this because we see, and it's so annoying, but we see so many things everywhere on social media, everywhere, telling you that you can do it in a few months, that it's actually easy, like learning English is easy. And I'm like, no, man, it's not. Learning any language is hard work. It's not easy. It's another language. It's actually very simple. It's another language. How is that easy, honestly? So accept it, okay? Okay. Ingrid, I don't actually know a lot of British podcasts. I don't really listen to podcasts usually. I never got into the habit of podcasts. I think they're great. I really do. I think they're awesome, but I just never got into the habit of podcasts, I think it's hard to fit it into my routine with the kids, especially now with the kids at home. It's like, when should I be listening to podcasts? Like that's how I feel about podcasts. Also because I work from home, so I don't have this time commuting in a normal situation, like I don't have this time commuting to and from work. So I never found a podcasts slot for me. But I know one that I think is cool and is British, is with James O'Brien. I think this is how you spell his name. And you might like him. He talks politics, he talks human rights, he talks UK, he talks life, James O'Brien. You might like this. Check it out and let me know what you think, okay? But I do need to research a little bit about podcasts, to be fair. I want to learn American English, Eduardo. I want to learn American English, but I'm listening to British English more. Do you think there is a problem? I think I will have more facility to listen to British English. I have something to tell you. If you want to learn American English, you should be listening to American English. If you love American English and that's what you really want to learn, then this needs to be most of your listening. It does not mean that you can't be here tonight and that you can't listen to any other English. No, it doesn't mean that, but it means that this needs to be most of your listening. Because if that's what you want to learn, it's very obvious, isn't it? You're not going to learn something unless you are in contact with that particular thing. So crack on, my friend. Gotta do it. Okay. We have time for one more question. Let's see. Would you like to share your political views on here? God, no way. There's no way I would like to do that. But thanks for asking. When you were living in England, okay. Fernanda, that's quite a cool question, actually. When you were living in England, did you speak English with your family? Do you dream in English? It's funny, isn't it? No, didn't speak English with my family, but yes, I think when I learned English, like really became comfortable with the language, then yeah, I started to bring English into my life more at home. And then I did start to say stuff in English, but it was never like, let's have a conversation and start talking to them in English. Not really. But I do speak English to my little brother. He's not little, but he's my youngest brother. And I do speak English to him 99% of the time. He prefers it, to be fair, so we do it. And I don't mind. It's fine. And if I dream in English, I do, but I also dream in Portuguese. And I'll tell you guys something before I go, which is important. Stop thinking that English is going to replace Portuguese. It's just never going to happen. English is your second or third or fourth language. I don't know, but it's not going to be your first language. This is not your first language, and you shouldn't want it to be, because that's you kind of being really mean to your identity, to who you are. No. So I dream in English, but I dream in Portuguese as well, obviously. And I think in English, but I think in Portuguese as well. So you always need to remember this, guys. English is supposed to add to your life. It's not supposed to take away your first language, okay? Like really. And you won't. So my darlings, thank you for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure to be with you. I'm sorry I couldn't answer all the questions because I normally have about 20 minutes for you guys before I go take my kids to bed. But thank you so much for coming, and I hope that has been useful to you and helpful as well, informative, okay? And I'll be here again next Monday, that's for sure. I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about. Hinado, hello. But we're going to find something really cool to talk about, as always, I'm sure. Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.